We're live.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another PeakFlow Power Hour. Trevor, my boy, we have finally diagnosed the issue. The echo was coming from your end, Trevor. Say what's up, Trevor.
I don't know what's going on with the echo, but like when I unmute or when I mute, the Marcus's echo went away. But what's going on, everyone? Super excited for another Peak Flow Power Hour. Let's get started.
Yeah, so I just want to start off the presentation today, guys. If you guys have any questions, feel free to drop it. And also, you guys know every single Friday at 12 p.m., we're going to make sure you guys have some power hour time to ask us any questions. And I want to start off today's kind of live just by saying I want to take back some words I said before. In the past, I've made fun of people going on like podcasts or live, and I'm just like, how do y'all always have like technical problems? Like, aren't you guys supposed to be prepared? Why is there always mic problems, this and that? Trevor's laughing right now because, bro, it just happened to me. Karma is so funny because, like, we're pretty prepared. Like, we're pretty good with technology, and like, it still was messing us up. That's why we were late. So I apologize, guys. Yo, what's going on, Ian? What's up, my bro? So ask any questions, guys. I love to talk about life, business, entrepreneurship. Today's part of the series, we're gonna go into the formation of the LLC.
Yep. But let's first we want to share some wins every week because who doesn't love
Okay.
some wins? So I'll let Marcus get into it. So obviously, ask your questions. We'll be answering them towards the end of the video. But let's go over some of the wins this week from some of our clients.
So first off, we have Justin. By the way, guys, I don't know if you guys could read this by now. All of these lives are unscripted. Like we are off the top, just kind of just really just trying to give you guys value every Friday. But let's start off with some September wins. It's the start of a new month and the end of the other. And on September 30th, we had Justin who just hit new record-breaking levels. And you guys can see on that screenshot. Open up the order. I forgot which. Uh,
Yeah, Kohl's. Do you know the company? You've heard
Oh,
of
he
Kohl's,
got the
right?
order from Kohl's.
Yeah, Kohl's.com. It's a huge billion-dollar company.
I got him mixed up with Jordan. I apologize if you guys are watching this. There's just so many student wins, honestly. But we want to highlight this because it just shows that real people, specifically businesses, are buying. So this business model is not just B2C; it's also B2B. Trevor, like what was Justin's journey like, and what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, so his business is definitely more B2B. And in the next couple wins, he actually has another business that bought from him. But your business doesn't have to be strictly B2B because I had companies like I had SpaceX buy from me, I had a university buy from me, and my products weren't really geared towards B2B. So that just shows the power, like just showing up for Google search results. Anyone looking to buy whatever you have for sale, they're going to click on the ad or they're going to click on the organic result and they like what they see, they're going to buy. It's not anything like rocket science.
I also want to point out a lot of people might be worried about like, oh, how do I even get like another business to come by? They all search on Google. So if you follow like the Google strategy, it's like they all go there. So your pool is like literally there. I just wanted to point that out.
Nice. Here's another one. Why don't you cover
This one's
this?
crazy. I'm not even gonna lie, like Trevor has most of the credit, if not all, with like VD. Like this shit has surpassed me. I'm not gonna lie. I haven't yet hit 400,000 in 1 month, but VD did, and Trevor and like Trevor, like how the freak like we got him to hit like 500,000 almost in 1 month.
Yeah, so for full transparency, like I was able to help VD get to 180K, but after that, he basically did it mostly like I was 99% of him himself. I did do a few like ad audits for him, but most of the time, like he already knows the direct path. More traffic. So once he maxes the Google ads, you have to go up the funnel. So you have to spend on the high campaign. He's also creating content on YouTube, Facebook, even his school community for his store to expand even further. So that's how he's just capturing a bigger and bigger market. And at this type of scale with the store, you have your sales process that's dialed in, you have your offer that works. Now it's just getting more and more people that needs to be interested in your product to convert. So he has to go up the funnel. Instead of targeting someone interested in Acme dining room table, he has to target people that are interested in dining tables, which is a lot hard to convert, but that's the direct path to scale to 400K. And actually, I saw an email this morning that he's working with an ad agency to probably scale this to 1 million a month. So super excited to see how it goes with him.
Yeah, that's the thing. It does get very like it's like a real business, and that's what I want to point out. Like you get to a certain level from our program, and you kind of have your foundation set up. You have operations, systems, finance, and marketing. But at one point, you get to create the business as an asset of your own. And VD took it to new heights inside his niche, which I'm honestly impressed. And the next slide we have.
We got TJ Maxx buying from Justin.
TJ Maxx buying from Justin.
Literally the next day. TJ Maxx, if you don't know what it is, it's just another retailer. Probably does billions a year.
Wait, you've never heard of TJ Maxx, Trevor?
No, I'm saying for like anyone that hasn't heard of it.
Oh yeah. TJ Maxx is pretty big in the States. Happy Friday, Jake.
So with most of these lives, we'll just kind of give you a quick rundown of like who we are before we jump into like the rest of the presentation. So why don't you kind of tell everyone really quick, like what's your story?
For sure. So I feel like because maybe I say this so much, it just sounds repetitive. I'm gonna just go quick at it. I am e-commerce guy now. I film content. I run multiple businesses, but I started off with dropshipping, low ticket, and I scaled a winning product to the moon. And then I lost all my money, went into debt because my operations weren't good enough. Customer service was terrible. Suppliers, it was bad because I scaled a bad product, poor business foundation. Found myself in a hole, discovered high ticket dropshipping, ventured into that, did it for about a few years, created my own craft with it. I was originally in one high ticket dropshipping program where they kind of just fell off. They just stopped responding to students probably like 6 to 8 months after I was in. That's when I had to take things kind of on my own to just try to figure it out and just continue improving, honestly. And that's where me and Trevor's paths kind of crossed, and we joined forces, put our swords and arsenal together. And now here we are, not only have refined the system to the point where like any beginner can really just start off with no experience to getting it to the levels of the great 7-figure giants. It's replicatable. There's more market than ever. We've realized more market than we could cover. So we share. And now we have, PeakFlow, ecom, and everything. And now, Trevor, feel free to have your quick 1-minute awkward presentation like I.
Thank you. Yeah, so my story is pretty straightforward. I started in 2017 with dropshipping on eBay, and then did that for 2 years, 3 years with Facebook Marketplace. And then basically my big breakthrough was Facebook Marketplace and also high ticket dropshipping. Facebook Marketplace died in 2023. That's why it ended there. And then high ticket dropshipping took off around early 2022. Some other business models that I did was low ticket SMA, affiliate marketing, all the types of common business models out there. And also, I'm from Michigan. One thing you should take away from this is doesn't matter what business you start, but the longer that you can stay consistent with one thing, the more likely you're going to see success with it. So pretty nice, quick and sweet. But let's talk about like what we're going to talk about today, which is step 1 in starting a high ticket dropshipping store, business setup. So here's going to be a quick rundown of the steps. We're going to also answer any questions that you might have with the business setup side, but it basically just comes down to 6 steps: creating an LLC, getting the EIN, resale certificate, banking, credit cards, and creating a Shopify account. So we're going to go over each one of these steps more in depth and going to give you like a more in-depth tutorial of how to do those steps for anyone that's outside the US or inside the US. So let's get started with creating an LLC. Why don't you take it from here, Marcus, in terms of like creating an LLC? What are the steps for people inside the US or outside the US?
Yes, sir. When I'm outside a lot and I'm just talking to a lot of you guys in person on Zoom, the biggest setback that I see people coming into online business is they're so worried about LLC and taxes. And so this is a great starting video for our series because let's just tackle the bottleneck. Guys, you don't really need to worry about taxes that much until you make money. And before you even worry about taxes, just worry about setting up your LLC. Now, setting up your LLC is freaking easy. You literally just go on legalzoom.com, which is what Trevor's showing you right now. You go onto this website, you click a few buttons to navigate yourself to create an entity, and you just have to pay one time. There's really not much hard work into it or creative thought. It's kind of just like you have to pay the $250 one time for the LLC formation. And once you have that, you now have the established entity in which you could operate your legitimate business on. A lot of people come into dropshipping thinking that dropshipping is a scam or it's not viable. But the first thing we want to do when we start off the high ticket dropshipping business is establish our LLC entity. And the first thing you do is you could either go on LegalZoom, which is the manual way. And I've also, when I first started off, I went to the accountant because I didn't want to, I just didn't want to mess anything up. But based off of everything that we know now, I believe that starting off with LegalZoom is also completely fine, if not even the better route, because it's cheaper and you get the job done. Because what you need from this, in essence, is just your EIN, which stands for your employee identification number. Almost forgot that. Imagine I went on live and just like blanked out, Trevor. That's not happening. Employee identification number, and that's what you need in order to apply to the suppliers. So that's all I have in terms of the part one. I will hand it back now to Trevor. Trevor, you want to show the Wyoming LLC part? You can elaborate on that and just let me know.
Yep. So just create your LLC is pretty simple. All you need is LegalZoom. If you're in the US or Canada, they'll set it up for you for $249. You can also do the $299 if you want 30 minutes of consulting with a attorney, it looks like, but it's really not necessary. I would just go with the middle plan. And if you're outside the US, because you can start a business outside the US, we have clients from UK, Singapore, Israel, Australia, all over the world. So how do they sell or how do they start high ticket ecom? Well, they're all selling in the US by incorporating a business through Buffalo Registered Agents, which is this service right here. It's going to cost a little bit more than LegalZoom, about $100 more. But all you really need to do is just fill out this information, put in your first name, last name, and then for here, you want to look for tax ID, and you want to click on tax ID without SSN. So if you're outside the US, you obviously do not have an SSN, but there's still a way to do it legally. So just do the 150 and they'll get you at SSN, or sorry, they'll get you at tax ID without the SSN. And then what you want is you want a Wyoming business address. And so you can do the free business address, but a lot of people will have the same business address as you. So I would recommend the middle plan for just $49 a year. So after that, you just fill out the rest of this information, pay with your card, and Buffalo Registered Agents will set up your LLC for you for $377. So that is the first step in terms of setting up your LLC. Because we're doing business with USA suppliers, we want to have a legal entity to protect us, but also to stay professional and work with these suppliers that ultimately are in the US. So that is step number one. Let's go back to presentation. Step number two, which is going to be obtaining the EIN. Yeah, Marcus, do you know how to obtain the EIN? Basically, I'll let you explain it.
Thank you, Trevor. With the EIN, it's the process. Well, let's first define what EIN is. EIN is another way to represent your social security number for your business. So every single LLC, every single business, you need a EIN. This EIN is used to identify your business. And when you go out and reach out to suppliers, reach out to the big brand names that we go and work with, they're going to ask you for your EIN, which again stands for employee identification number. And you can use multiple ways to get it. You can use LegalZoom to get your EIN, right? Because once you have your LLC, you could go through a process and they'll get your EIN, or you could go to an accountant in which they'll give you the EIN. Again, really, I don't know, I don't really know the true intricates step by step on top of my head right now. We would have to like just go through some papers and just kind of go through it together. But it's really not that complicated. I don't want to overcomplicate you guys. It's a number.
Right. So, yeah, if you're going to use one of these services, they'll do it for you. But for whatever reason, if you wanted to set up the LLC through your state, then you have to get the EIN through the IRS website. All you need to do is type in get my EIN, irs.gov, and then usually in the first top results, you can apply for the EIN number. And after you apply, you will get that number instantly and just go ahead and save that PDF that they give you for the confirmation. And the EIN number is like, I believe like 8 digits. It's 2 digits and then 5 or 6 digits afterwards. And basically, like Marcus explained, that's your employer identification number. It's your like social, but for your business. So don't
Mhm.
really share that with anybody. It's not something that will probably get you in trouble, but just keep that to yourself.
Don't put it on your
So
website, please.
yeah. So the next step is resale certificate. Um, this is pretty straightforward. I'll let Marcus explain it.
Resale certificate is your certificate to resell the brand's products. So when you go and apply to become a reseller for these brands, so you guys will notice I'm using certain keywords. I'll try to slow down a little bit so you guys pick it up. But as a authorized dealer, that's another way to say drop shipper, we're gonna apply to become a reseller or authorized dealer. They're all the same way to just say drop shipping. And when you're applying to these suppliers, they will ask you for one or two things. The first thing they will ask is your EIN to prove that you are a legitimate business entity with the state. The second thing they may ask for is your resale certificate. That is just a certificate you fill out so that you could apply to become their reseller. And the way you find a resale certificate is by going on Google. For me, I'm from New York. So I went on Google, I searched up New York City or NY resale certificate. And it's just one PDF file. And what you need to do is download it. And then you could use DocHub or whatever way to edit it. And you just want to input the necessary information, which is pretty much going to be your EIN and then the name and address. And you put the supplier's name on the resale certificate as well, so they know that's theirs. And then you just kind of send it back to them. And that's the process of applying to become a reseller with the suppliers.
Amazing. Yeah, pretty straightforward with the resale certificate. Just search up how to get resale certificate for whatever state you incorporated in. The resale certificate that most people will apply for Wyoming, you just have to go to the Wyoming state and basically search up how to get resale certificate for Wyoming, and it will give you a rundown of exactly where to apply. But even if you don't know, you could definitely use Fiverr to get a resale certificate for you as well. So there's plenty of options if you do not know or know how to use Google for your resale certificate. But after that comes down to banking because we obviously need a way to receive money, but also transact money with our employees, pay software expenses, and suppliers at the end of the day. So, Marcus, do you have any banking recommendations for people in the US and outside the US? And I'll go right after you.
Yeah. Domestic wise, I've used Chase Business Banking. I believe Trevor probably knows more of the up to date best, rates with each banking solution right now. But for me, I've used the Chase Business, and then in terms of international, I know some of our students use Wise as a way to distribute the money funds. But my experience has been with Chase Business, and I'm looking to apply for the American Express one as well. But that's what I have.
Nice. Yeah. So for if you're in the US, I would use a local bank just because you can actually talk to someone if you have any issues, any questions. Chase, Bank America, or even any of your local banks near you. I usually recommend the bigger banks just because the mobile banking app is a lot more robust than some smaller banks. Because some smaller banks, their app is laggy or it doesn't work or it has crashes. So I recommend Chase or Bank of America. But if you're outside the US, use Wise. You can use Relay Financial. You can use Mercury Bank. Those are all great options if you're outside the US.
I also think you could accept payments via Shopify Balance, I want to say, but I am not sure. I think they give you like a card for you and help Shopify users, but you should look into that as well. I say like Shopify has something.
Yeah, Shopify Balance, which is like a Shopify bank account, may not always be an option when you first sign up, but that might be a little bit different nowadays. Most of the times, you need to be a U.S. citizen to use it. So I would just assume, I would honestly just keep your money off Shopify. Just
Yeah.
have a external bank. So let's just say you can't access your Shopify account. Boom, you just can't access your
They
bank
might
account
just hold
anymore.
it for
Yeah, it's
something.
kind of scary.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, cool. So banking is pretty straightforward, but now credit cards. This is my favorite part. But Marcus, do you have any credit card recommendations for anyone outside US and inside US?
I use Amex and then the Business Inc. Preferred. But Trevor, go for it, my brother.
Yeah. So if you're outside the US, most of the times the credit cards, for example, if you're in UK and you're trying to use a UK credit card in the US, there might be foreign transaction fees, and if there is, it is not worth it. Most of our clients that are outside the US, they actually just pay suppliers via ACH or called wire transfer. So that way, there's no fees. It's you don't earn any cash back, but that's kind of the only downside of it. But if you're in the US, lucky you, you can use a ton of credit cards. The best ones for high ticket ecom is for sure the Capital One Business Spark. It is 195 a year, but if you spend 200 grand a year, which sounds like a lot, but when you run this business, it's really not much because your expenses because of the high ticket products could be 50K, 100K in expenses. So 200K a year in expenses is absolutely nothing for high ticket. But with the Capital One Business Spark, it's a little bit hard to get if you have bad credit. But if you can get it, you earn 2% back on everything. And basically, just if you spend 50K a month on expenses, 2% of that is what, 1,000? Yeah,
Yeah, that.
$1,000. So that cash back is not taxable, meaning you can literally deposit in your personal bank account and not get taxed. That is the power of cash back. So if you're in the US, absolutely take advantage of the credit cards for sure.
I just want to point out real quick in terms of the credit cards, the points when I like used to look for it, when applying is like they literally say like 3 to 4x on social media expense or social media something. Those are the ones that juice up the points, as Trevor was saying. That's all.
Yep. Yeah, Capital One Business Spark, if it's only the one card that you're going to apply for, just get that card. If you want some other cards, there's like Chase Business Inc., which earns 3% on advertising, so your Google ads, or you can get the Amex Business Gold. Those are all great cards, but honestly, to keep it simple, you just need one card. One card, put all your expenses through it, get the cash back. Then you can use the cash back, maybe go for a nice vacation. It's not great for travel, but extra $1,000 every month of free non-taxable income is great. You can do whatever you want with it.
Amazing.
So, yeah, the last step of the business setup is the most simple one. Create the Shopify account.
I feel a little like we shouldn't have just like smirked on that, but I hope you guys could like feel the energy of like this isn't like super rocket science, guys. A lot of people's just like set themselves back because they just don't do it. Like creating an LLC, like you just click a few buttons, you might have to pay the fee, but you're gonna get the necessary documents. And after that, you know which credit cards to use, you know which banking system to have, and now like just create a Shopify account. So we do have I think $1 for 3 months trial link uh, that we could share with you guys if you guys want. Put us on DM.
Yeah,
But yeah, the next step.
it's in every single like YouTube video description, but actually Shopify nerfed it recently. They nerfed
What's
it. It's
Nerf?
no longer 3 months. It's only 1 month for $1.
Oh, it was too good of a deal, right?
Yeah, it's too good. But
Yeah.
anyways, I mean, it's still $1 for a month. Better than nothing.
Also, I want to point out there's also $500 credit when you first start off any Google Ads account, correct, Trevor?
Yeah, there's $500 when you spend 500 in the first 60 days of running ads.
Yeah. So you can really get this stuff out with minimal starting capital. So that's what I was trying to say. And next step, Shopify account. Should we create the Shopify account with them, Trev? Or
Yeah. I just have a bunch of stuff on this browser, but yeah,
no,
I
it's
mean,
okay.
just go to any of our YouTube video descriptions. There's a link to create Shopify. All you need is just the email.
Let's answer some questions first. There's this question about store niche won't work and you have to start search for a new one. What are signs of data that are telling you this? When do you know that your store won't work? Well, for me, I wouldn't have went in heads deep, run ads if I don't think my niche is gonna work. If I why would it not work? Like I feel like if there's others selling it, other dropship, like it has to work. So it's really hard because this is like a general question where I have to know like the specific niche. Trevor, you might have a better answer than me, but for me, like I wouldn't have even invested that much time into a niche that like wouldn't work and start a new one. Just like just make sure you follow the criteria and of a good niche. That's my thoughts.
Yeah, so at the end of the day, any niche works. Plain and simple. But there are better niches than others. And for your question, let me just reread it. I have a question. When do you know that your store won't work? Yeah, I mean, just answered it. It does work. It's just when.
He's not trying to hear that, bro. He's just like, what do I know where my store? Well, like, well, how do you know your store isn't working? Like, if it works for others, why is it not working?
As long as you pick a niche where it's only like one product and the search demand is like crazy low. That's the only time it wouldn't probably be
I
feasible.
feel like you can still find cousin products though.
Yeah, let's just say some random product has 100 search volume a month, and the person's domain was thatproducttype.com.
Yeah, but the chances of you being that hyper niche, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you have to screw up pretty badly for it not to work. Even if you pick
Yo,
a very competitive niche like fireplaces, saunas, massagers, greenhouses, um, furniture, they all work because we have clients in every single one of those niches.
I think it's just how you perform the business and the systems you have behind, and really creating that system that we have inside PeakFlow. So if you guys do want, we do have that one-on-one coaching that is what sparked a lot of client results this past month. And I foreshadow a lot many more coming our way. And yeah, guys, ask your questions now. And yeah, after launching Google, how much data should I need to get a first sale? Great question. I'll go
Yeah,
first, and then
one thing real quick.
yeah.
Let answer your question by saying how long it took you to get your first sale.
Oh, good point. When I first started off running high ticket ads, I was still doing a little mid ticket as well. So for my result answer is a little bit skewed because I already had ads running on the ad account. So it was like warmed up, not the traditional, like nothing starting, but I honestly got my first sale within the first 3 days. But that's also given that I had momentum from just all of the stuff going on in the pixel. So that's my answer for me. How about you, Trevor?
Yeah, so I had my ads set up wrong when I first launched. I only spent $5 for 2 weeks. And looking back, that was just my bids were set at a penny, or like
Oh,
less than 50 cents in all the campaign types. So they were barely even getting impressions and clicks. But I spent $5 in 2 weeks, and I got my first sale for 700.
My first sale was 4,000. My first high
Damn.
ticket sale was 4,000. Yeah. But
Yeah.
just to answer that question real quick, for me, it's like if you have it's not even the ads itself. It's like if you have the checklist that we made inside PeakFlow of just kind of having like the right offer, your website looks really good, all of the back end and everything is neat and organized. That like really is what makes that speed of result a lot faster, in my opinion. It's not really like the ad itself; it's that back end and the system that you have.
Yeah. After launching Google Ads, you should expect in the first 1 or 2 weeks. As long as your ads are set up correctly, you're not spending like pennies a day, then you should expect your first sale in the first 1 to 2 weeks. Some people, we had like a kid from the program that made 3 sales before even launching ads. Just from organic. Just from organic. So that just shows like if you have products that people want and there's not a lot of competition, even if there's a lot of competition, you can still make it work. But when there's hardly much competition, you can make sales just from free listings too.
That checklist fire, bro. Thank you. All right, guys. Halfway, 30-minute mark. We're gonna end the live now. If you guys have any final questions, just feel free now.
Yeah, but in a nutshell, business setup is very straightforward. If you're not in our free school community, feel free to join it, and me and Marcus will show you exactly how to do it over the shoulder, just clicking the buttons on the computer of setting up your LLC, getting your EIN, setting up all the necessary steps to do business.
Yeah. It's all inside our school community. Does $3,000 sweet spot? I have no idea what that means.
I think he's referring to AOV. So like the average price point. Yeah, I would say 2 to 4 thousand is the sweet spot in terms of how much effort it takes to make a high ticket sale, because anything less than 2,000 you can get by with no phone calls most of the times. 2,000 to 4,000 you might require a little bit more customer service, and then 4,000 to 8,000 a little bit more, and then 8,000 plus then it just requires a little bit more work, and the buying cycle's absolutely longer with anything higher.
Damn, them boys asking now.
It's
Will there
always
be more
towards the
features?
end.
All right. So for me, I think like it's not necessarily high ticket products will be invented. It's just more of transferred from one market to another. Because guys, like what's high ticket e-commerce in general? It's literally just the brands from your local streets are all getting bankrupt and they're all moving online. And so it's just a shift of wave of from the real world into digital, and you either capitalize or you don't. And the early waivers, you guys are watching all of this stuff, so you guys understand what's going on. But it's not that it will be invented. It's just more. It's just going to be more aware. It's just going to be more adapted. That's my answer.
Great answer. Let me answer the next one from Igor. Um, I love in Germany. I think he says I live in Germany, and my biggest issue with dropshipping is customer service. I have full time job and it's different time zone. Yet we have clients that are working full time jobs in different time zones. The main way to combat that is, truthfully, you have to adapt with the time zone or hire someone to take those calls for you. You won't lose on a ton of sales because you don't answer the phone calls right away or the live chats or the emails, but a lot of times you can make quick sales when you answer the calls and then answer the live chats.
Or you could have a autoresponder from our CRM. That's how we're able to do it, handle all of our leads and stuff. You guys want to know more about PeakFlow CRM? Just hit us a DM. That's how we centralize all of our customer service and the leads inside one platform. That's how we deal with customer service and also build our business and systems in a box. So that's just something that they're out there if you guys ever need help with that.
Yep. So I guess we kind kind of answer Igor's question, like any advice for customer service and how to handle calls? Yeah, the time zone thing is you either have to adapt to the time zone, or any free time once you get calls, just return the calls as soon as possible. Um, I've heard of other people like in Thailand that run USA dropshipping stores. They would just wake up, answer the calls, do their thing, and in the US it's nighttime, and then make some sales, go back to sleep, and then just repeat that because in Thailand the expenses are really low. You can get by with a couple thousand a month. Um, but yeah, that's on average how many calls you get per day. I know it just depends on niche and traffic.
Last question.
Yeah, I mean, most of our stores were spending like 300 to 400 a day, and usually we get like five or more calls. It obviously fluctuates. Some days you only get like two or three, and some days you might get seven, eight, nine.
Yeah, that's the key thing. It's very sporadic. Like some months we'll have more, some weeks we'll have a little more. It's weird, but that's how the market is, right? Like if it was consistent, that's not really a market. So if that's sporadic, that's the answer.
Yep. But usually, like on Mondays, I saw this trend for a few years now. Mondays, I see on like the traffic graph, is always the days that has the most amount of visitors.
Everyone
It's
just
super
came back from the
interesting.
weekend and shopping at work. That's why.
Yeah. When can you start thinking about outsourcing hire for customer service? Yeah, when you're profitable. Or if you have capital, you could hire beforehand, but most of the times you want to learn yourself and then
Yeah.
teach someone afterwards. Yeah, $30 a day is sufficient for Google Shopping ads per brand.
Good
I
guys.
mean,
I love the energy.
yeah.
Bring this up next week again, and we'll answer all of your questions every Friday, guys. We're gonna make it a daily commitment. I'm sorry we were a little late today. There were some technical difficulties. We'll make sure that we're on time next week. But again, 12 p.m. every Friday, guys. Just tune in. Let your friends know. Let all of your family know. Let everybody know. And this is how we're going to change the world, one question at a time. Love, man. That's it.
All right, take care, guys. Have a good one.